The Stanford prison experiment took place on August 15th through the 21st of 1971 in the basement of Jordan Hall at Stanford University. The experiment was created to examine the psychological effects of authority and powerlessness in a prison environment. This is Philip Zimbardo, who is a psychologist known for his 1971 Stanford prison experiment. Zimbardo said that the experiment demonstrated the powerful role that a certain situation can determine the way that humans behave. The first subdiscipline that is relevant to this movie is cognitive psychology, and it is present in the movie because the prisoners are ultimately doing whatever the guards are telling them to do. They are not able to do certain things that they would do in the real world. The second is clinical psychology, and it is present in the movie because some of the prisoners had made decisions that they would not have made in the real world. One of the prisoners said that he doesn't use obscene language, but the guards ultimately influenced him to say something vulgar in which he did not want to say. And the third and final is social psychology, and it is present because the behaviors of the prisoners and guards was based on the people that they were surrounded by. The way that the prisoners behaved was dictated by the guards and the actions that they told the prisoners to perform. This is a photo of all the people who questioned the guards and the prisoners to make sure that they did not have any psychological problems before they joined the experiment. This is a photo of all the people that were chosen to participate in the experiment. Half of the ones chosen to participate were guards and the other half were the prisoners. The way that they determined who were the guards and prisoners was based on a single coin flip. The psychological theory that is relevant to this movie is the cognitive dissonance theory. Cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort experienced by someone who holds two or more ideas or values. Some of the prisoners go on to show emotions like rage and crying hysterically because of the situation that they were placed in. This is a clip from the movie showing that they made all the prisoners wear the same thing and look exactly alike. They had to wear dresses with their numbers on them along with hats. The prisoners were not to be called their name, but rather the number that was on their dress. This is an image from the movie showing two prisoners that had just tried to escape, but the guards had caught them. The guards of the experiment can be explained by being very aggressive and abusive. They often punish the prisoners by making them do push-ups, jumping jacks, or even staying in the hole, which was a locked, dark room with no interaction from other prisoners. The prisoners in the experiment became very stressed and anxious while the experiment was going on. Throughout the experiment, the prisoners were starting to act a lot different than at the very beginning when they had just arrived at the prison. The prisoners' behaviors began to change as the days went on with the experiment. The guards became very abusive, and an example of this from the movie is when the guards continued to make one of the prisoners do push-ups until he says a cuss word. They would get into his face until he eventually said the word that the guards wanted him to say. This was the way that they transported the prisoners from one place to another. They would cover their heads with brown paper bags, that way they were not able to see. This is an image of some of the prisoners locked into their cell. The cells were created out of classrooms that they had changed the doors to make it look like a jail cell. Some of the symptoms of mental illness that I saw present in the movie was I saw excessive mood swings. The prisoners were feeling down and unhappy about the situation that they were placed in, and then one of the prisoners even showed to be extremely tired and showed signs of guilt. This is an image of one of the punishments that they made the prisoners do. Other examples of punishment were jumping jacks in a dark hole, which was a dark room where the prisoner had to stay locked in there until the guards let him out. This is an image from the movie in that one of the prisoners was not doing what the guard had told him to do, so the guard got in his face to try and convince the prisoner to do what he was told. This is a photo where one of the prisoners ultimately has had enough of the way that the guards were treating them and took action into his own hands. My overall reaction to the movie was that I felt bad for the prisoners. During the movie, you could tell that many of the prisoners were going through a really tough time. There were instances in the movie where it was unethical for the way that the experiment was performed. The prisoners had signed a contract that said that they were not allowed to be hit and they were able to leave the experiment when they wanted. In the experiment, they ultimately did not want the prisoners to leave, so they offered them counseling and told them that they were weak so that they would stay longer. My reaction to the mental illness and how it was portrayed I thought was rather good. The movie showed that being held captive and not doing your daily routine can have a huge impact on your body and your ability to think.